Welcome to the Words in Season podcast. My name is Kara Marie Morris, and I'm your host. I was reminded this week of how I needed to remind myself. I need to remind myself that God has a dream for me, that He doesn't just have work for me, but He has a vision. He has a dream. He has something that ignites a fire in me, not just something that I can just, okay, life is good, but something that would satisfy every part of me, because really it's why He created me, the purpose and the will that He has for me. We've seen that the will of God is to rejoice always, and everything give thanks, and to pray without ceasing. But sometimes, because of life, it's easy to forget that I am called with a plan and a purpose. So when I begin to lay hold of that, there is going to be opposition, but God has already overcome the world. So thank you for joining this episode. Remember that every time that you open the Bible for yourself, that Jesus always has a word in season for you.
I know you've got a word in season.
So my encouragement today to myself and to you is to not give up. When I begin to live a life of faith and to follow my dreams that God has for me, hard things and challenges are sure to come, because it is when I am dangerous to the devil. And as a result, the devil is going to try to test my commitment to God. So these two things, they happen immediately when I decide, yes, I'm going to lay hold. Why do I sometimes ask myself, how did I get here? How did I get so lazy? I was so on fire for the Lord 6 months ago. But it's because immediately the devil tries to come for the word and for the dream that God has for me. So what begins to happen immediately whenever I decide I'm going to follow what God has for me? Number one, my faith starts to grow. And number two, the adversary comes to steal that dream away from my heart. 2 Thessalonians 1:3 says, we ought to always give thanks to God for you, brothers and sisters, and rightly so, because your faith is growing more and more, and the love all of you have for one another is increasing. So I want that to be my testimony, that my faith is not stagnant, but my faith is growing. So when I am determined that I'm going to follow the dream that God has placed in my heart, it's when my faith grows. And what does that look like? It means practically that it's going to be a lot bigger than what I can think or see in the natural, but it begins to grow my faith when I decide, yes, I'm going to lay hold of this dream. If it means I'm going to go back to school, if it means I'm going to buy a house, if it means I'm going to go on a missions trip, and it means that I'm going to have to raise a certain amount of finances, whatever it is that God has placed in your heart, if it doesn't seem impossible, then it's probably not big enough, because God is more than enough, and He wants us to dream like He does. And of course, He is far greater than anything that we can ask, hope, think, dream, or imagine. So He wants us and our testimony to be that our faith is growing more and more, and that our love for one another is increasing. And only that is done by the grace of God. So what happens when I decide, yes, the plan and purpose of God, I'm going to lay hold of it, whatever that looks like in the natural, whatever that means I'm going to have to do or not do? It means that immediately our faith begins to grow. Our trust in Him begins to grow. I remember 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when I decided I was going to quit my job and go to Bible school, there were so many questions. And still today, I don't see the full picture. But as I begin to follow Him one step at a time, He opened doors that I never thought even existed. And He opened my mind to things and realms in Him, and being able to experience His presence like I could have never imagined. But the problem is, as a human, it can be really easy to get satisfied and to get stagnant and to get lazy. And I have to spend time with Him so I don't give up on the dream, and I don't get lazy on the dream that God has placed in my heart. So immediately, my faith starts to grow. And we can see how that starts to grow in Romans 10:17. Once I hear the voice of God, I knew. Whatever those situations are, when you know when you hear the voice of the Lord. And in times where I wasn't sure if it was the Lord or not, it's because I haven't been spending enough time in the Word of God, because He says exactly what is in line with His Word. His will is His Word. In Romans 10:17, it says, consequently, faith comes from hearing the message, and the message that is heard through the word of Christ. So the more that I spend time in this, it's like you just know. You don't have to question, did I hear God or did I not hear God? Because it's in line with His word. The more that I'm in His word, the more I am sure that I'm following the plan that He has for me. So faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. And the times where I've allowed myself to get lazy and say, oh, I'm too tired to read, or I'll read the word later and then I forget and life just happens, that's the times that my faith is the weakest, and I begin to let go of the dream and that God has for me. And then I begin to wonder, why am I so angry? Why am I so frustrated? Why am I so dissatisfied with my life? It's because you are not growing in faith. It is our faith that pleases Him, and it is that faith that as we please Him, that is the only thing that satisfies us, spirit, soul, and body.
When I'm feeling tired, just one word in season, and my heart comes to life. I know you've got a word in season, even when the world is changing. I know you've got a word in season.